Hey, it's the 18th of July. We're in the middle of a pretty nice overall market conditions, I guess. And yeah, it seems like pretty much everything is going up. Yeah, good to see everyone again. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Waj, joined again by Mo. And today we have very special guest. We have Black from the Hypio team. And Hypios have been all over Twitter, all over CT. In fact, all over, not just CT, all over Telegram, basically Discord as well, dominating the Hyperliquid ecosystem. So it's super happy to have you guys on and to talk about all things markets and of course Hypios and Hyperliquid as well.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here too. It's fun to be in a space where we're going to talk about the market in general because I love trading and all this stuff. So
Good.
looking
Well,
forward.
that's why we're in the Hyperliquid ecosystem too. We're all traders here as well. And yeah, we've been doing this show for a long time now, Mo, hasn't it? We've been doing it for like over a year, it feels like. And every week
Yeah,
we have
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, every week we have
almost 2 years.
someone joining us. Yeah, literally. And we like to talk about all things markets. And I'll share my screen and we'll have a look at Bitcoin and ETH and some of the majors as well in a moment. But I'm just curious and just interested to learn a little bit about you and like your backstory and like where Hypios even came from as well.
Sure. So I guess I've been in and around crypto for I'm trying to find out how to do it fast. Man. I've been in crypto for like 10 years. A little I mean, I've been paying attention to crypto basically since Bitcoin started, back in like 2010. And I was just kind of in and around it, and I had my own regular business, and I kind of what didn't dive right in, otherwise I would be retired and probably not here right now. Um, and so I've been around crypto, this entire time. A little bit of ETH in the 2010s, and uh, around when COVID started, I really got into it properly. Got into NFTs, and I got into Milady, and I got into trading and all that stuff. Um, And yeah, ever since then, I've been kind of in and around both the NFT space, trading NFTs, and then also trading regularly, whether that's on-chain trading, meme coins, um, regular, perps trading. I got into Hyperliquid one day. I was trying out every single Arbitrum DeFi app, and Hyperliquid was one of them back in 2023. And obviously, it was amazing airdrop, and it's been where I've been trading all the time since. And I really tried to improve my trading a lot for the last couple of years. Um, yeah, so I've kind of been doing it all in this space and meme coins, everything. I did the Solana thing last year, so that's just kind of the recap for me.
Nice. You've, I guess, like really been someone who likes to try everything, right? From what I can tell, you dabbled in from left curve to right curve, from meme coins to
Yeah,
derivatives, like from
yeah,
chain to chain. You've tried everything. I like that.
yeah. I'm in stocks
That's
and
how I
trading
feel as
cards
well.
too. I'm definitely all over the place.
No, that's great. That's great. And just because there might be a few people in the audience, we've got over 100 people who are tuning in already. That might not know about Hyper somehow. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I think the vast
yeah,
majority of people know everything about Hypers, but just in case there isn't, tell us about and what they are, and yeah, your story with the
yeah.
Hyper connection too.
So, like I said, I personally got into NFTs a couple years ago, and the community that was the big one for me was Milady.
Yeah,
And just because I thought Milady, not I think, I know Milady kind of had this unique understanding of the space and what an NFT should be. A lot of NFTs from last cycle, as you guys know, are basically kind of dressed up Ponzi schemes. Um, and Milady sort of took this other angle, which was like kind of cultural resonance and like stuff that would be relevant for like the actual people and like could actually last long term.
yeah.
So they did Milady, they did Amelia, they made these amazing templates that have been done on every chain. Bitcoin has Based Angels, Solana had Retardio, and we wanted to build one for Hyperliquid back around April of last year. We started working on it. We spent about 8 months on the art, and yeah, our launch was basically perfect timing. There was no Hyperliquid NFT really. There wasn't even a chain for Hyperliquid NFTs to exist on. So we ended up becoming that community where uh, if you wanted to kind of culturally enter Hyperliquid, there was this vector now via us because it's the Remilio template is so good. That's what we use for our project. And yeah, I mean, it kind of just went way crazier than any of us would have expected. You know, what I mean, we thought it was going to do great because we put a lot of work into it, but we didn't realize it was going to do like 50 million volume in like these 6 months. And we've had insane airdrops. Like, I honestly think Hypio in terms of being an asset, considering we minted at $75 and we went all the way up to almost 10 grand. We have gotten thousands of dollars in airdrops. I think you could argue definitely at some point this year it was like the best asset period in like all financial markets in the entire world. Like it was the sheer amount of return that people got if they minted was kind of fucking insane, and a lot of it has to do with Hyperliquid and the fact that we're in this Hyperliquid mix, and that it's not actually meant to be a Ponzi scheme. It's just meant to be relevant and culturally resonant and kind of because Hyperliquid is so trading focused, a lot of those people aren't like me where they're like into 15 different things. You know what I mean? They're kind of just into trading and they're not necessarily that great at like developing on-chain culture, you know what I mean? Or a space for
Mm,
people to actually like be real people, you
yeah.
know, and communicate and unironically be a great community. And that's something that we really brought, like our whole team just was great at cultivating this community, you know, from myself to our community managers. You know, we took people who had been really successful at making fun communities on ETH when the market was bad, help people have fun in the space, and then you know we brought that to Hyperliquid. And Hyperliquid, everything is great, so it just works a lot better. You know, it's a lot easier to have fun when everybody's just winning together. You know.
I love it. I love it. That's some the artwork is so cool. There's some really cool stuff. I think my favorite background is the hype cheat sheet, or the salt sheet, I should say. Actually,
Yeah, yeah,
that's really cool. But like I can see like there's so much effort, even into like these every small detail. Whether it's like Jeff's PFP in the corner here and things like that. I think yeah, there's a lot here that I really like. So yeah, no, awesome. You've clearly worked hard. You've managed to grow a really amazing community as well. And yeah, props to you guys for putting in the work.
thank you, man.
I'm just appreciating all of these right now. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not joking. We really spent like 8 months on it. Like we spent a lot of time, and we have some fun. You know, we're gonna let people change their IPOs and add some fun traits too. So there's a lot of fun
Awesome.
stuff we're working on.
Awesome. What's your favorite?
My favorite personally is probably the alien bodies, just because I've always been partial to aliens from like alien punks, you know what I mean, and alien ladies and Remelios. But just from my time in being an NFT fan, I
Yeah.
think it's fun that we have like our version of it, which is just very similar to the Remelio alien. But I
Yeah.
just like aliens because they're that kind of like super rare alien.
Yeah, they are. They are. The alien punks are still like absolutely insane. So yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
So I
Very
get a
cool.
kick out of that because it's like we have our own collection that is like that there are alien hypos that are rare. But then to be honest, I feel like I'm the only one. Not a lot of people give a shit. They like the cat balls. There's a cat ball. Cat ball is this old project on Hyperliquid that
Yeah.
has their own IP. So we made our own version of it. It's kind of like our aliens. Um, the cat balls are quite popular, and then the hobs are very popular. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the hobs from Romulio.
Yeah. 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 No, very cool. Very cool. I kind of like the just the simple hyperliquid cap as well. I love that as well. I think it's very clean. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, super
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's a great hat.
And yeah, I think like what you guys are doing is it's really good, and would love to, I can't wait to see like what else comes from this, because Miladies, those guys have been able to like grow something absolutely insane from where it was perhaps last cycle, and now seeing all of these kind of subcultures and
Yeah,
sub groups kind of pop up from them, and all of them are doing like their own individual thing. I really like that. I think that's really cool.
that's what I think is not that I want to talk about hype this entire time, but I think that that's a great kind of final note on this, which is like being in Milady. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I saw OKX listed SPX and MOG. Um, and like SPX and MOG, if you were in Milady, you had like a month and a half because the market was kind of dead to buy these coins below 10 million market cap.
Yeah.
And both of these coins went to like almost like $2 billion. I think SPX is almost 2 billion right now. Like the
Yep.
sheer amount of opportunity that you had. And yeah, like so many people are building things. There's some ladies that are coming over to Hyperliquid and building stuff, and we saw that happen. I thought that that would be our long term goal was we'd get there where Hypios would be making like culturally relevant stuff and building applications, and it's already happened where the top kind of meme coin on Hyperliquid is made by Hypios. It's an inside joke from Hypios. It's called All Right Buddy. There's another one that's going to be really resonant coming soon for a bunch of Hypios getting airdropped to us. They're like Hypio teams are building all the top D apps on Hyperliquid. You know what I mean? It's already there, and our team is working on our stuff that we think will keep us relevant and interesting. But it's really incredible to see the community kind of really remind me so much of what Milady was like in its prime.
No, amazing, amazing, good, 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 very, very good. Okay, let's talk about markets now.
Yeah.
We can first of all start with probably like the main outperformer, from the majors, and that is of course ETH. Mo, you've been telling me to basically long ETH every single day for the last 2 weeks. So I know that you've been printing. Black, how about yourself? Have you been trading ETH recently as well?
You know what? I had this tingling feeling. I was really hard on ETH about a couple months ago. I literally said like, if you like are still holding ETH, like it's like you have given up on life. And it was really funny because that was like actually the ping of the bottom. Um, and after that, like once it went up to like 2,400, I just kept having this tingling feeling where I was like, oh man, I need to 8 ETH. And I couldn't do it because I'm so hype port. But as it started breaking out after that range that we were in just recently, I did long it pretty hard and I managed to get in below 3 grand. And
Nice.
I got a nice long position and it's been printing. And I'm very surprised that we're already at 3,600. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's been so underperforming. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah,
for them.
absolutely. Yeah, Mo, tell us about ETH. Like, what have you been trading? How's your trading been going? Talk us through ETH as well.
Yeah, so wait, can you hear me? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you can. Yeah, so basically, as you said, like I've been telling you to long ETH for the last probably 2 weeks. The
yeah,
thing
literally.
is, I've had entries around 2600, but the ones I longed at 2600, I closed around 2900. Then I relonged and I TP'd again. Every day before I go to sleep, I FOMO back into this long. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I really think we can hit 4K ETH. It's not even 4 anymore. It's like 15%.
Yeah, and I just put this on screen. We're up 160% since April. It's really funny, like
Yeah.
that. You guys remember that Gainsey stream where he was like talking about
Yeah.
like ETH being like I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to hold ETH, this and that. It's actually 2x from that stream.
No, this is what I mean. That was the sentiment bottom. It's so funny how
Yeah.
reliable like this guy when people are really like just being so aggressive, it really is the bottom. Like
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it happened so quickly. Like that was only in $1,800 was like in May, and we're in the middle of July. It's been about less than 8 weeks, and with 2x on ETH, it's outperformed Bitcoin by a lot. So yeah, Mo, you think you're still feeling quite excited about it? Yeah, I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see the local top that we had back in December. Which was 4,100. We're actually not that far away from it right now. How far are we? Like 15%? Yeah, another week like what we've had last week, and it'll basically be there again. Is this going to be like third time the charm as
Yeah,
well? Like remember last year in March 24 we hit it, had the same back in December. Is this third time lucky maybe, and we'll finally break it?
I think so. I think that happens because we have SharpLink. They're buying like almost $100 million of ETH every single day.
Yeah, yeah, fair, fair.
So yeah, I do think this breaks out fairly soon.
And do you think all of this is purely just the narrative from these TradFi vehicles who are basically just going all in on ETH right now? These treasury vehicles.
Yeah, I do think so. Like the same way BTC was catching a bit from Sailor and all these other institutions, I do think ETH can catch some sort of bit the same way.
Fair, fair. How do you, we're seeing this a lot with ETH right now. I've been seeing it a little bit with other assets as well. We had like a brief moment where there were some treasury funds or like companies buying hype as well, and I think we kind of saw a similar effect for a little while. Um, you know, Comparatively, I'd say in the last week, hype's kind of underperformed something like ETH. I'd be keen to
Absolutely.
like know what you guys think about hype at the moment, and like, kind of, are you trading it? Are you hodling it? Are you staking it with Kinetic or something else? Or like, what are you guys all doing with your hype?
I'll go. I'm staked. I'm everything. I'm fully in. I've got a huge level of my port in. I just think you look at this token and what's going on with it. Not even the treasury strategy stuff. I think just the fact that they buy back so much with the fees, and the fees continue to rise. The fees continue to be really strong. There's no token like this. You know what I mean? And then in terms of it having retraces, like this token still isn't available on most tier one CEXs.
Hmm.
There's still a lot of people who've been kind of like fading this, and like from a retail perspective. You know what I mean? There's no like crypto YouTubers or anything like that. There's no like kind of mid curve way to like get info on hype. That's part of like why our project is successful. We're kind of one of the only like mid curve mediums that people can access. There's not a lot of this general sort of like there's no XRP cult. You know what I mean? This is like just financial people buying in. I think a lot of people still don't realize that this coin is probably relatively undervalued. But at the same time, it makes sense that it underperforms when all these other coins start catching a bid. Hype has been disgustingly outperforming since that April period, right?
Yeah,
Whereas ETH and them lagged. And like to be fair, like yeah, it's great that ETH is at whatever it's at. I think it's 35 something right
yeah.
now. That is like $200 higher than it was on ETH ETF day, like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it's not like ETH has been like this fucking domino. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's been
And the
going
complete
crazy.
opposite.
It's just been actually like extremely underperforming, and it's only just now with Bitcoin like scratching 120K,
Yeah.
starting to get a bit of that value into the mix. So I think it makes sense that while all these other coins start to re-rate, all these coins other than hype are basically lagging majorly. So I think it's a natural
Mm.
rotation from people who have made a lot of money on hype. And I think that I'm buying the dip if it goes much lower from here. I'm
Yeah.
buying the dip for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, totally makes sense. Just before we started, I was just having a look at what the revenues were looking like, and I saw that in the last 24 hours, 5.5 million. Annualized number on that. Of course, like it's we're looking at annualizing one day's worth of revenue, but it's like 2 billion. And I think even this week, off the top of my head, I think it's like 25 million, sorry, in fees for the week. And yeah, I think when you annualize this and look at like what the circulating market cap is, this buy pressure, I think, is just such an important thing that just
I
helps
also
keep this
think
flywheel going.
people don't realize that this project is not in its final form either. You know what I mean? Like it still hasn't taken anywhere near all perps market share, and it still
Yeah,
hasn't taken anywhere near spot market share. I mean, we don't even have Doge on here. We don't even have Sui or Bonk. We don't even, you know what I mean? Like anything, all we have in terms of the spot markets and the fees from that is Bitcoin, Pump, Fart. They're just about to add SPX, the meme coin. But
yeah,
like there's no Pepe, you know what I mean? Like there's so many high volume assets, especially if we go into a frothy market here, that could get added to this mix and then get all the market share from that. You know what I mean? This was like the best place to trade pump token right off the bat. I just think if you adjust your priors and you look at how it's evolving, it's extremely bullish to me. I mean, they're realizing all their potential steadily, and there's really no hiccups anywhere along the way here.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we saw like the builder codes like continue to grow with Phantom now, who have integrated Hyperliquid as part of their perps. They're technically, they're a Solana focused wallet, but now you're trading perps through that on Hyperliquid, which I thought was really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think like stuff like that is just gonna keep it going, I think. So yeah. Fair enough. I think I'm in agreement with you for sure. Mo, any comments on Hype itself? Like anything that you've been doing with it recently as well?
Yeah, so personally, I haven't been trading it much just because of how stable it has been, and that's kind of expected because it was the people's usual safe haven. Like whenever you're in doubt, like you just buy and hold Hype because like in case it didn't go up that much, you know that it won't go down that much. But
Mm.
uh, now people are kind of resorting to like risking on more, and the risk appetite has increased so much. So probably the people that have been holding Hype while everything else was underperforming now probably sold their Hype for something else that could probably outperform right now.
Yeah, fine, fine, fair. And just for the people watching, we at IVX are building option markets, and we have option markets on Hype as well right now. You can see right now that we currently have, I believe, the highest levered instruments that you can buy with no liquidation. Right now this strike price of $45, it's giving you 75x on Hype with no liquidation here as well. So yeah, I think. One of the this is one of the more interesting instruments that in terms of volume. I think we're all very bullish on Hype as well, especially with hypercore itself, some of the right precompiles now with HyperEVM. Yeah, what better place than to trade this with incredibly high leverage through IVX. Right, going back to markets as well. Okay, we talked about ETH and we talked about Hype now as well. I guess like one of the biggest talking points of the week was the Pump Fun token launch, and yeah, with that, like kind of the price action around it. There's been a lot of discussion around this. Um, how have you guys been playing this now? Because I mean, this is basically almost down to the ICO price now. Originally, it had one pretty good burst going to 7 bill or 7.2 bill, and then kind of as despite a little bit of buybacks as well, kind of all the way back down to the ICO price. What have you guys been doing with Pump, and like how have you been trading it if you have been? Maybe Black, you want to go fast?
Yeah, I have been building a short position since launch. Um,
Oh damn.
I'm extremely short, and yeah, it's just the same reason I'm bullish on Hype. To me, Pump is the exact opposite. So I've been
Mm,
long Hype and short Pump, and I'm very glad that I am short Pump right now. I think the entire pitch is completely incoherent. You're talking about a meme coin launchpad that is basically deciding to become Twitch. I made a post about
yeah.
this the other day. Like, Twitch is famously a business that has never turned a profit. They are subsidized by Amazon. You know what I mean? This is a money pit of a business that is extremely hard to, like, everybody is losing money to gain market share in this space. Pump has never really shown that they have any sort of real capacity to become a proper streaming platform. Um, and I don't actually trust this team with the money. You know what I mean? The Hyperliquid, it's very easy to trust this team with what they're doing with the money when they just buy back the coin all the
Mm,
time. Pump team, where they've just taken the money out and taken the money out, and in my opinion, they actually harmed the Solana ecosystem with the way that they designed their platform, and made it so easy for serial scammers to launch coins. Like, I think it's fine to do that, but I don't trust that you have good intentions or in good faith personally. And then the fact that they didn't do an airdrop again kind of reminds me personally that they're just not really here to help people make money by using their platform. They're here to enrich themselves. And I think that basically this whole pitch about Twitch and all of that, it reads to me like a way to justify raising money, and then spending the money to pay themselves. And I don't think that this asset is, financially serious. Like, I think this is going to go to below 1 billion at some point. I'm going to stay extremely short. I'm on low leverage. I added margin when it went up to that 7 billion mark that you mentioned, and I
yeah.
kept shorting. And I'm going to stay short because I just don't. Even if the market gets frothy, I just don't think Pump is a good token.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, the funding rate is like over the last few days has been pretty high. So you must be doing pretty well on the funding as well on top of it.
Yeah, no, even when I was losing money, technically, it was great because I was long everything else, and it was like, at least I'm getting the funding back from this. And again, I'm not a degen. Like, I do relatively low leverage, like,
Yeah.
so I do high margin, low leverage. So you still make a lot of money, but you're not risking as much as long as you manage your position. So
Yeah. Fair. Very interesting take there. Mo, what's your take on pump as well?
Yeah, so I actually like Pump. I didn't like the fact that they actually sold somewhere around 33% of their entire supply, and it's all liquid. So everybody that bought in during the sale probably is there to make some money at some point. So they either sold around 6 to 7 billion, or now they're still holding on to it. I do think there will be some panic here around the ICO price, because people will be like, wait, why did I buy this? Why isn't this going up? Why is it going down? Like, they might panic sell, they might cause a small wick on this. But at the end of the day, like, Pump Fund makes almost a billion in fee. No, I wouldn't say a billion, but they make nine figures in fees every single year. So if they implement some sort of consistent buyback the same way Hyperliquid does it, I do think this coin can be well above 10 billion.
But that like brings an interesting conundrum, because it's like what Black just mentioned, talking about like the pump team haven't executed in the same way as the hypercore team have. They didn't do an airdrop. They aren't very transparent. You don't really know what's going on. Is there revenue share or not? With Hyperliquid, we know how much exactly is being bought every single
And
day.
it's everything. It's everything. You know what I mean? Like we're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're like buying back with 10% of the fees. They're buying back with almost the entire fees every day. Like I think to me it's just when you compare what Pump and Hyperliquid are doing between the clarity and the quality of the product and the fact that the product is a proven one, whereas
Mm.
Pump is pivoting to a business that is a money pit that it's actually like technically going to be impossible for them even with the money they have to turn into a real streaming business in my opinion. um I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Personally, I think this is a way to just cash out over an extended period of time, try to convince people that this is what they're doing. I mean, nobody thinks Pump Fun, most successful business in crypto, and then thinks streaming, really. And if they
Mm.
do, they think about some of the horrible things that have happened on their streaming
Yeah.
platform, not anything positive. So
Yeah.
the pivot to me is fascinating. And just, yeah, I think that
Uh,
the business was dying a bit, and that's why they pivoted here.
Yeah, no. I think yeah, very interesting take there. I think one thing that I think Mo, you mentioned something really interesting here, where I think there's going to be a bit of panic if the price does actually hit the ICO price, or perhaps goes a little bit below it, where we might see like some severe panic, and maybe some kind of perhaps some liquidations, maybe just some forced selling or panic selling. And I wonder if we do get a chance to, as a trade, maybe pick up some pump for a short-term trade, where you can kind of buy back on the bounce, and maybe sell there. I don't know, but
I
I think
started
it's
building my long.
started building along already.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, very interesting.
They
Completely
might try to
contrasting.
defend this ICO price, but they've never
Yeah,
been
yeah,
a
maybe they will.
project that has ever put money back into their eco, really. So I don't know how much they'll really be willing to defend their sale price.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. If they do defend it, then you probably will get a nice little bounce here, and you could probably maybe
Yeah,
scalp a trade. But if they don't, then maybe there will be a bit of fear and a bit of fear and panic, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. But okay, interesting. Any last thoughts on pump before we move on?
Nah, that's it on my end.
Cool. Okay. I guess one other thing that we did have, man, this week was actually kind of crazy. Was on Monday we had a new all-time high on Bitcoin, 123K. I don't know how we started with with all of these other coins and didn't mention the main Bitcoin itself, but yeah, happy new all-time high week for Bitcoin. I mean, it feels good. Uh, what I mean, it's been on a pretty nice run in July itself. And now at all-time highs. We're basically in price discovery. Maybe we kind of pull back a little bit, like we have done later on in the week as well. But yeah, Bitcoin's doing well, and I'm interested to hear, like, both of your cases on in terms of like where Bitcoin actually ends up going. Is Bitcoin an asset that has now decorrelated from the rest of the crypto market? And with the ETF or with treasury funds or with Michael Saylor or maybe some new nation states that pop in, BlackRock and all of these other institutions just continuously buying in. Is Bitcoin just in a league of its own? And is just are we just going to see Bitcoin just slowly trend up and close that compression between its valuation and the valuation of gold, which is currently 10x away from? Yeah, would love to hear both of your thoughts on that one. Maybe Black, you want to start on this one?
Sure. Yeah, to your question about is Bitcoin sort of decorrelated? I mean, everything else is correlated to Bitcoin, obviously, to some extent.
Yeah,
Although, like talking about ETH and stuff, it's been very weird to see this underperformance. I do think it's a different cycle. I think we're seeing simultaneously the dollar, the denominator is really struggling. It seems to be kind of a weak dollar strategy from Trump and all of them, and it might get away from them. They might lose control of that too to some extent, or maybe
yeah,
the dollar is sort of bottoming against all other assets. But I think that that's contributing to Bitcoin doing what it's doing. Obviously, the inflation and all the other reasons that people love Bitcoin as this hedge against fiat currencies. Um, I think that that's really what's happening here. Is this cycle is last cycle to me was about crypto with kind of a capital C, and Bitcoin was a part of that. But really, what was so exciting about last cycle was Ethereum and projects like IVX or these kinds of things that are DeFi. What does Ethereum unlock and NFTs and all these new primitives that people didn't know about? And
yeah,
this cycle, after the sort of the fire and the fury of that last cycle has waved off, and we've seen so many things go to zero, and Uniswap never turned on the fee switch, and you know what I mean. Like a lot of these projects just didn't become as compelling as people thought they might be. I think Bitcoin just stands alone. And I think the only project that stands alone like Bitcoin is hyped, frankly. Um, and I just think that this cycle is about Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin can go to 200 plus easily, as long as the markets don't rug, as long as we stay in this risk on situation. It seems like rate cuts are coming in. I think it's all going to pour more gasoline, and then we might have a wake up call sometime in like mid late 2026 or 2027. We'll see.
fair. Okay.
I don't think rate cuts are coming this month.
Not this month, but they're starting to become inevitable.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
looking on Polymarket yesterday, just looking at like what the odds are. I think this month it's almost likely that there won't be rate cuts, but in September potentially there might be at the next Fed meeting.
Yeah, it might
And
even be December, but I think the forward guidance of the fact that rate cuts are coming just gets everybody into a more bullish situation, I think.
fair, fair, fair. Are you in the camp of believing in, let's say, 4-year cycles, or you think the cycle theory is kind of not relevant anymore, and things can continue going into next year or the year after, and still look very bullish for something
No,
like
I'm
Bitcoin?
not. I'm not in the 4-year cycle camp. Like I said, I think that this cycle is quite different. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that it won't rhyme in the sense, you know what I mean? Like it can go back and forth, but no, I just think it's in a very different situation. And we got this weird extension this year. I think around the time when this cycle in theory should have been sort of drying up a little bit, it got really extended. Um, you know, so we're kind of like in this overtime period, but I think what we're really in is this Bitcoin strength period. I think that's what's going on with alts right now is people are realizing Bitcoin is actually potentially going to go crazy. And how do you position for that? And I think once again, we were kind of trying to front run the alt season, and people are not interested in selling their ETH now. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been shaken out of all these alts. So
yeah,
it's a good setup for them to start pumping.
yeah. Fine, fair enough. Mo, any comments on Bitcoin as well?
yeah. I just wanted to like go back again because it's killing my alt positions.
Fine, fine, fine. Has there been anything else of interest to you guys this week in terms of markets? There's been a lot of green on certain alts. Not every alt, but some alts. A lot of alts related to ETH have done really well. I noticed,
Yeah.
some of the DeFi coins like Lido and Curve and ENS and
Aave.
yeah, Aave. Pendle. I have a Pendle position, and that's done pretty well this week. These sorts of coins have done pretty well. But I also noticed at the same time some of the old memes as well have done really well.
Yeah.
I think I saw Bonk perform really well this week, and I think uh, I don't know if you call this a meme, maybe not, but things like Pudgy Penguins do really really well as well. Anything of this sort that's attracted both of you as well, whether it's the left curve with the memes or the right curve DeFi stuff as well, both of which seem to be performing pretty well this week.
I'll let Mo go first if you want.
Yeah, sure. Like I've been dabbling around in both ways. I've
Yeah,
been trying to long Aave and Maker for a very long period of time, and whenever I set a limit, it, it just gets so close to it, and it immediately goes back up. It doesn't fill me. I've tried like 3 4 times. I haven't been getting my entry on these coins, but yeah, these have been definitely outperforming. I do think they will continue to outperform. Uh, and yeah, and on the left curve, like I've been longing SPX.
yeah. Let's have a look at SPX. I'm pretty sure SPX hit all-time high this week, didn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
1.95 bill. I mean, this chart just looks absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It's like from March to now. I mean, how many X's is this? It's like almost an 8X or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Going from what 270 mil all the way to 2 bill, like incredible performance. Shout out to shout out to Murad for his TikToks, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Black, how about yourself?
Yeah, so whenever I start feeling bullish on ETH, I have a basket of coins that I like to bid. And you mentioned a few of them.
Yeah,
Aave hasn't been performing as strong as I would have hoped, to be honest. I really am waiting for another leg up here.
yeah.
Um, Ondo, ETH Classic,
Interesting.
Uniswap has finally started to get a breakout. ETH Classic has been one of the strongest performing coins of the last, I think, 24 hours, actually.
Oh yeah, look at Uni there.
Um,
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Uni's breaking out. And there's some other coins that are kind of surprising but adjacent, like Near is one that is kind of on the similar theme to me that will catch a bid. But yeah, you hit that whole basket of coins, obviously ETH itself, but ETH Eco and ETH adjacent stuff gets to have its own alt season. And yeah, personally, I actually don't really play the ETH memes. Funnily enough, like I said, all of us in the lady like had Mog and SPX at like under 10 mil. But I don't feel super comfortable playing them on leverage because they're meme coins. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've had bad experiences with that, so I don't. So I'll buy them spot sometimes, but not really. I think it's much
fair,
easier
fair.
to play. To me, stuff like this near coin, this is a meme coin. Nobody uses near, but it acts more like a real coin. You know what I mean? And since it's so cheap, quote unquote, you know what I mean? I still think it's overpriced, but I think it'll go up if everything goes up. You can get a nice return on decent leverage there with stuff like Near and these eco coins. Yeah, Pengu has been a great one too.
Pengu's been a great one. Yeah, really impressed by his performance there. Yeah, I mean, looking at Near as well, I think this is a really old chart of mine, but these levels just like still like play so nicely. So yeah,
Yeah,
if it's able to kind of hold this, then yeah, look, your next target is maybe it's somewhere down here
I
first,
think
but I
my
still think
entry
yeah,
is
it's a good trade.
249, so I'm like right below that line you have, a little
Yeah,
bit below
no,
that
I
line.
think stuff like that is great. And yeah, I love a trade like this. Level to level is the way that I like to trade anyway. So if
Sure.
you can kind of get at the bottom of a level or get at the top of the range or level, whatever you want to call it, and short
I
it,
think high
whichever way.
threes, mid fours would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think certainly possible. Certainly possible. There'll be one little target like in the mid threes, I think. Somewhere like here,
That's
probably
why I
one.
like this coin, man, because like it's this major not major, but it's like a big old crypto.
Mm,
It's got a quote unquote AI theme. So when retail coded people come in, they look for a coin. It's in that basket of coins that get the bid when ETH goes crazy, for some reason. Just like as an alt. And it's so like cheap and so depressed, you know what I mean, that it can do this like literally like 2 3x. And
absolutely.
this could go to 5 or 6 if we get in a really frothy situation. You get that on a bit of leverage, that's a great trade.
Yeah, potentially some good trade here as well. I like this one. Fair enough. Fair enough. Has there been anything that's performed really poorly other than pump this week? I think I've seen some coins like do not so well. I think
Hype.
virtual,
Hype has
some of the
been pretty
AI
poor.
coins, maybe hype. Um,
Sui actually has been quite weak. I've been well, that's one of my top trading
let's have
coins
a look
when
at
things are
Sui. Let's have a
frothy,
look at
but
Sui.
Sui has
It's
been
one,
weirdly weak.
yeah, one that we like to trade from time to time. Let's have a look. Yeah, it has been a little bit. Maybe we've kind of hit some double top here to some extent, maybe. Um, but yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. Sui, I mean, this is trading at a fairly similar FTV to Hype, so I always find that really interesting to
Yeah.
see like yeah the kind of differences between these two. But yeah, fine. Maybe one to keep an eye out on if there is any good short opportunities. Maybe you can kind of get this, just kind of how we saw this. Maybe we might see another similar trend. I don't know, but yeah, just be careful of
Do you
it
guys have
breaking out.
Sui on IVX?
No. On IVX, we actually only have 4 assets. We just have Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and Hype.
Okay.
And we probably are looking to kind of increase the scope of assets. But I think in the current AMM design, that is a little bit tricky. But we have
Mm.
some things that we are working on to potentially increase the number of assets available. Yeah, I mean, we focus on options. So the main premise really here is like even if you're trading something like Bitcoin, you can often get 100, 200, 300x leverage depending on the time of day. And if you want to take that speculative bet and you maybe think the market's going to move on a particular day, or you maybe think it's Jerome Powell's time to speak about rate cuts, or maybe Trump's in the news talking about something, or maybe there's some news about Saylor bidding Bitcoin again. Those kind of news trading events make it really good to trade these instruments, and yeah, that's what we specialize in on Hyperliquid.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Any other coins that we can potentially look at in relation to the market right now as well? Mo, any suggestions? We'll look at maybe a couple more before we wrap up.
I think we covered almost everything that's relatively important.
One
I think
last
Mog
thing
would be
that
an
I
interesting one.
sorry, what was that?
Mog might be an interesting. Mog or Bonk, I think, are two that are in interesting spots.
Yeah. Let's have a look at that, and then I wanted to quickly have a look at Bitcoin dominance as well because I thought that was interesting. Let's look
Oh,
at
yeah.
Mog. I got the Bybit chart here. Yeah, talk me through it. What are you thinking in relation to Mog? Is this just ETH beta? Is this just gonna be like a little bit like Pepe to some extent, or is there something different going on with Mog now compared to before?
I just think there's this interesting dynamic that Mog and SPX are both like two sides of the same coin, where SPX was really the one that underperformed, and now it's got this incredibly strong holder base. And then Mog was the original outperformer, and it seems to be like it's obviously done quite well on a medium time frame here since April, like many coins have.
Yeah,
But it's been relatively weak over the last week, whereas something like SPX really hasn't. And that, again, it kind of front ran this thing. So I'm just to be honest, I'm not touching it. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but I think it's an interesting coin. And when there's this sort of you don't know, you don't quite understand what's going on with it. Personally, I don't really understand whether it's going to go up or down.
mm,
Those are the most interesting coins to me because I think it seems to be going down to a level that was a top previously, like a couple of weeks ago.
yeah.
And maybe it'll turn that into resistance, or maybe it's going to get really weak here, depending on what happens with Bitcoin and ETH. So I just think it's an interesting coin. And same for Bonk. Bonk has this pump fund launchpad alt theme going on there. But yeah, I'd be interested. I don't know what you guys think about the Mog or Bonk chart. Personally,
I
I'm
don't
not quite sure about
Bonk
either.
is amazing. I mean, look at this run up
Yeah,
from June, like absolutely insane in like
the
less than a
Bonk team
month.
has been amazing. Bonk team are
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah, they are. They are. I think the rivalry between Bonk and Pump Fund's actually very interesting to follow.
Yeah,
Like one
I
team
think
that
that's also a
really
reason why Pump Fund has been underperforming.
probably,
yeah.
yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
And
because
I
like
think you
Bonk,
have the
Bonk,
contrast is great, man.
yeah, Bonk has like 70% of the market share right now.
But it's also
Very
that like Bonk is this team that came in when everybody at Solana was like at the bottom. I don't know if you guys know like the lore of
yeah
Bonk, but
Yeah,
they blessed everybody who was had conviction and soul when like it was very easy to leave,
yeah.
and they've
They
killed
gave
it.
everyone
They've
an
absolutely
airdrop.
killed it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
so when you look at that versus Pump, who have just taken money and then they were like, "Hey, you can buy our coin," whereas Bonk are just killing it and killing it and killing it, and then are like, "We're going to compete with Pump." It's like, what's going to happen here? You know what I mean? I think it's too, and Bonk is not going for the we're going to become Twitch. Bonk is like we're going to add this Pump Fun theme onto our thing too.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's a really interesting trade. I think you could pair trade Bonk and Pump potentially. I think you might make a lot of money.
Very interesting one to keep an eye out on. Very interesting one. I also find it interesting how Bonk typically trades, where it has these explosive run ups before like pulling down, explosive run up, back down, explosive run up, back down, and now maybe it's in the middle
Yeah.
of an explosive run up. You have to be careful though, thinking that this is the top because I mean, if you just look back at last time, this has some pretty big pullbacks at times. You know, we're talking like 30-40%. It doesn't even look that bad on the chart, but trust me, this is actually a pretty big pullback before it
That's why
rips
I can't
again.
play these on leverage, man. It's like
Yeah,
2x like max. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
even
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
2x, you could get
have you
really
seen Bunk
roughed
Guy's
up.
long?
Oh, he's closed it now, right?
Nah, he didn't close it. It was just
Yeah.
rumors. But if you zoom out, Bunk Guy longed it at the Pico bottom. Like zoom out to like
But
2023.
in 2023, oh, yeah, he's got the same long open, right?
Yeah, he
From
longed.
here.
Yeah, the bottom all the way up to the top. He's up like 23,000%
Bro, good for him. He's
without,
retired
Yeah,
without
and
they got a
leverage.
great team. Nam is doing an
Without
amazing
leverage.
job with Bong.
good for him. Good for him. He's retired his future 100 generation, so good for him. One thing that I wanted to just quickly show the viewers here is this crazy, shallow. I say shallow. This pretty steep pullback on Bitcoin dominance here, which I think for a little while we all just thought was just going to carry on going to infinity. But here we
It
are with
probably
a
does.
pretty big pullback. Yeah, I'm interested to just see like where this kind of stabilizes out because yeah, a few pretty big red days on it. How long will that continue for before it kind of chills out a little bit and maybe
I
returns
think we
going
go somewhere around 59 to 60%, and then we go back up.
fine. So a little bit more to go then, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Just something that I don't always rely on Bitcoin dominance, but just something that I do like to look at from time to time. Cool. Okay. I think we've been going for 50 minutes now, so maybe it's a good time to wrap up here. I think yeah, this was a really, really good show. Thank you, Black, for coming on. Where can all of the guys like find you and follow you? Maybe I can plug the Twitter page on screen in a second.
Yeah. Thank you. First off, thank you guys for having me. It was a really fun show. We love just talking about actual the market. You know, what I mean, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun talking with you guys about these coins. Yeah, on Twitter, our main account is Hypio HL. My personal account is Spiral Form on Twitter. So either of those, if you want to follow the main account or follow me.
Yeah, follow both. Follow both. So it's
Yeah, yeah.
Hypio HL, and make sure everyone's following you too. It was super fun having you on. Yeah, shout out to the Hypio community. You guys are great. Hopefully we can do,
Thank you,
do
man.
some things together as well. But I think this was good having you on the show, talking about markets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to all the guys watching at home, there's like actually a pretty good turnout today, almost like 600 plus people watching right now. So shout out to all of you guys. It's been good fun. We'll be back again next week, so come and tune in then. If you haven't traded on IVX before, then make sure you come and do that as well. Go and check out Hypios, go and follow Black as well. From myself and Mo, we'll catch you all next week. So see you later, guys. Bye bye.